rifle I'm holding in my hand is a United States Army M1 Garand rifle. It's a gas-operated, short-stroke piston. Fires from an 8-round end-block clip. You insert the magazine down into the clip, down into the gun. The bolt will close. Every time you pull the trigger, it will cycle and eject a round. At the end of your 8 rounds, it'll eject the empty clip with this noise. The bad part about that was the Germans knew when you were empty. They would try to catch you while you were reloading. You want to do a firing demonstration? Okay. There's your simple 8-round end-block clip. Locks into the gun. Gun closes. We fired semi-auto only. Fire in the hole! And can be fired incredibly fast. 6 rounds. I don't have another one on me. Watch that hot, okay? Hold on, guys. Wait till we're done. Wait till we're done. Back up. Back up. The weapon I'm holding in my hand is the father of all modern assault rifles used in all modern militaries. This is the STG-44, STG standing for Sturmgewehr, which literally translates to assault rifle. It was the first rifle built primarily from steel stampings. You didn't need to be an arms manufacturer. You could take this to Fritz the tinsmith and go, make me 1,000 of these, and as you can see, it doesn't really need tight tolerances. They came up with the idea for an intermediate rifle cartridge. An intermediate rifle cartridge. It is neither a pistol round nor is it a full-length round. See, it's a short little rifle round. This gun fires both semi and fully automatic. When Hitler found out they were making this, he said, this is too complicated for an infantryman. I know, I was one, so he told them to stop making it. So they changed the name to hide it on paperwork. They changed the name from MKB, which was Machine Carbine 42, to MP43. Then later, Hitler himself changed it to STG-44. How he found out they were making it was at the end of every year, Hitler would bring his big field commanders together and go, what can I get you more of? This one SS commander described this rifle, and Hitler said, I thought I told you guys to stop making that. But one thing about Hitler is he always listened to his field commander, so he said, continue producing it. This one is an original, it's 1945 dated, it's legally owned, fully automatic. I'm going to fire that one. This is the accessory everyone wants on their gun. Mark E on top for Einzelfeuer. D for Dauerfeuer, which is continuous. E is for single fire. That single fire, it's easy, simple to control. When you flip it over to full auto, it's a nice, easy chug. Anybody here around the age of 10 could fire this gun with simple instructions. Best part about this weapon, it was a wedding present from my wife. That's a good one. That one was made by one of the original contractors that originally designed the gun. That one was made by Hanel in probably the last 60 to 90 days of the war. It's never been cut, drilled, or welded. It was brought back by a GI in Ohio. This one here is the one you see in every World War II movie. Commonly referred to as a Schmeiser, that's a misnomer. Hugo Schmeiser did very little design work on this gun. 9mm fires full auto only. The only safety on this gun is if you pull it back and lock it like that. If you're walking around with this thing and it goes, it'll just go. If you drop it, it can also fire around. So this is a world famous subgun called the MP40 machine pistol of Vietzig. Machine pistol of 1940s. 9mm, and you just heard my gun. It's got that nice, easy to control chug. Everybody died. Fires about 900 rounds Mine fires about 550. Anybody who's a mathematician will tell you 800, 900 rounds is 13 to 15 rounds a second. When you're moving up at a reenactment, when you're moving up on a firefight, you can tell where the Germans are and you can tell where the Americans are just by their rate of fire. You hear rip, rip, those are the Germans. You hear chug, 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 or more appropriately, bang, 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 cling, those are the Allies. If you have any questions about any of the guns we've demonstrated here today, oh, hold on, we have one more. You ready for yours? Sure. I yield the floor to our glorious victors, the British Airborne. Good afternoon. Hi, still afternoon. My name's Doug, part of 9th Parachute Battalion. We are British, through and through. I've got the tattoos to prove it. Remember that MP40 when I get a little bit. Okay, the British Army, just the same as the German Army, the basic weapon that was issued was a bolt-action rifle. The British Army started at the beginning of the war with a number 1 Mark III, which a gentleman has right here on the ground. It has a grenade cup that they had from World War I. They used it all the way through World War II. Okay, during the war, they said we need something a little bit better, a little bit more sturdy, so they came out with the number 4. That was issued to 99.9% of the British Army all the way through the war. Now, during the Lend-Lease, where America came in, and America would not be part of the war, to this day they still have the same rule: you will not fire unless fired upon. So they said, we'll lend you stuff. So they started off the Lend-Lease program. Well, the British didn't want to use the M1 because it's semi-automatic, and people were saying, well, that's the gun that won the war, why didn't we use it? The reason was, it was logistics for ammunition. The main weapon was an Enfield that fired a 303 round. The squad weapon was, if you go over, I'll show you later, is a Bren gun. It fired a 303 round, exactly the same round, just a fully automatic rate of fire. And then the platoon gun, which was the Vickers, fired exactly the same round. Those are 3 main guns right there, 1 ammunition. So logistically, when it came down, we were already using 9mm, we were already using 45s. To use another ammunition, it was logistically not good. It fires, it's a big round. It fires stupid clips of 5. You can load 2 stupid clips at a time, where you have 10 rounds. When you're ready, if you want to fire it off. It's very distinct, loud fire. Like I said, it's bolt action. Whoa, we're going to shoot you.
This is normally 10. I'm just going to fire 5 right now. The difference is bolt action. You have to chamber around every time versus the semi-automatic, the automatic weapons they've been shooting. The sergeant's going to demonstrate the automatic weapon that he has. Fire in the hole. That was 5 rounds. Good British soldier can get off probably a good 30 rounds in a minute. He loads his clips.
Now, this gentleman over here is going to shoot a tennis ball about 100 yards. Yes.
Let's demonstrate that on the field.
It depends. It'll be fine. Go ahead, fire over there. Fire when you're ready. What you would do, you would take a grenade. You would drop the grenade into the cup where the spoon is still attached in the cup. You would pull the pin, and then you would fire. Fire when ready. Oh, I know.
That lobs the grenades over.
And that would lob the grenade over, and depending on how much you could adjust. Go get it. All right. This is a Sten Mark V. ST for Sterling, EN for Enfield. 2 companies came together. Now I said, remember the MP40. The British needed an automatic weapon. And the MP40 was a very functional weapon. The only problem was it was only 4 auto, right? It did not have a semi-automatic. And the British were all about saving ammunition. A paratrooper jumped in with everything. We only went in with 210 rounds. That was it. Until we got resupplied. British paratroopers who were supposed to be resupplied within 3 days, that basically never happened. If you ever seen the British too far in Arnhem, they went 17 days until they give up. Fighting against the Germans, which is supposedly the old man, and that never happened. So the British came out with the Sten Mark V. The great thing about this for paratrooper model, has anybody ever seen Band of Brothers? All right, you ever talk, in one of the scenes they're talking about those stupid leg bags, right? There's a leg bag that held all your equipment, all your ammunition, all of your weapons, and it would attach to your leg. When you jumped out the plane, when you got about 100 feet, you could see 100 feet to the ground, you would pull a toggle, and the bag would drop 50 feet.
So when that bag hit the ground, it would let up on a parachute and it would have a soft landing. The problem was Eisenhower said that he only wanted fresh troops D-Day. He wanted no veterans. And the reason why is because fresh troops, they were told that they were supermen. The Germans were only old men and boys. They were going to hit that beach and they were going to run up. There was nothing to stop them. But if you had a veteran, the first thing a veteran does when he hits the beach is goes for cover. They didn't want that. They wanted to storm the beach, get up that beach as quick as possible for the second wave to come in. So everybody in that first wave, including airplanes that went in early the night before, or early morning, that went in, they were all fresh troops. So you had these American and British pilots flying the plane while the Germans start doing flak because they're firing in the air. Now the problem was they'd never encountered that before because they were all fresh troops, right? So they decided to fly lower and faster. And it was too fast for the leg bags. So when the parachuters jumped out of the planes, because of the draft, because the plane was going so fast, it would rip the leg bag off. So they would drop with no weapons, no ammunition. Sometimes if they're lucky, they would have a pistol, or they might have a grenade. That was it. So the great thing about a Mark V, in a matter of seconds, you can break this gun down, and they would stick the gun into the webbing harness. So when they hit the ground, they would actually have a weapon. If they lost the leg bag, they would have a weapon in a matter of seconds. You're back in, and you're all set. Another great thing was, this is Mark V, but Mark III is very similar. Mark IIIs, there were over, I think, just over 1 million of them that were dropped in France. They were also dropped in Belgium for the freedom fighters. And the great thing about it is, because the magazine's on the side, it's a very easy weapon to hide. You can walk in, have it in your jacket, and nobody would know that you have it. It also fires, when I go back to the MP40, it also fires a 9mm Parabellum, which is the same round as the MP40. So if you lose ammunition, you can go ahead and steal his ammunition, but it goes both ways, right? He can steal mine. This was the most favorite pickup from the British Army for the Germans, and that was the most favorite pickup for the British from the Germans. So this is actually semi, but I'm firing pretty fast, so we'll have a go. 9mm sounds good. Exact same round. This is made out of 53 parts. And if you owned a garage in England in 1944, you can guarantee they were sending you those parts and you were stamping those out. Alright? Now we're going to go to the mortar. This is a 2-inch mortar carried by the airborne.
Can I just say something real quick? You guys are going to be, we're going to let you pick up the rounds after we're all done talking here. But I want to point out it's very, very important you don't pick up a line round. These are all blanks. There's no bullet that's actually in them. But what you notice on the bottom is there's a little indentation in the primer there that means it's been fired in the opening on the other end where this is fired. So you guys, when we're done here, you want to come out and pick up some rounds. Make sure that they're safe first, the way it's explained there. If you find one that doesn't look like it's been fired, let one of us know, bring it to us, okay? All right?